when you start looking at the stock market and you start trading, you'll notice in your account that it says bid, ask, and what do those numbers mean? You need to understand what those numbers mean because you might get screwed if you don't. And so let's talk about it. Let's say I want to buy a stock called WTF, and I'm looking at the price. I pull up the chart, and the current price that it was last traded at is $5.15. This is what we see on the finance chart when we pull it up in Google or whatever we're looking at. And then we see the bid and ask price. Now let's say that I want to come in and I want to buy 1,000 shares, but I only want to spend $5 a share. I put in my bid, I put it in as a limit order and say I'm only willing to spend $5 a share and I want 1,000 shares. Donald Trump has 1,000 shares, but he wants to sell it at $5.25. So because there's a gap between the bid, me, and the asking price, Donald Trump, there is a spread of 25 cents. Someone else can come in and they can outbid me and they can change the bid and ask spread, or somebody can come in here and they can out-ask Donald Trump by asking for a lower price. Alternatively, someone can place a market order, and if somebody wants to sell me shares at market, it's going to go through at $5 a share. If somebody wants to buy at market price, it's going to go through at $5.25 a share. And so that's what's important to understand, and that is why we always place limit orders. Let's go ahead and talk about the types of orders you can do. There is a market order. My handwriting is terrible, sorry, but a market order activates at the best available price. It executes immediately. So if you click market in your trading account, place the order, it will buy it at the best available asking price and it will sell it at the best available bid price, and it will execute immediately. Do I do this? No, I don't really do this. There are very rare occasions where I will make a market order, but in general, I always go with a limit. Limit order, I set the limit. I buy it at a limit or lower. If I set a limit order and the stock falls below my price, sometimes I'll pick the stock up slightly below the limit order that I placed. If you set a sell limit, it will sell at your asking price or higher. Sometimes people jump in and they push the price up if the price is moving very fast. Sometimes it goes higher than your limit. So that's interesting to consider. Then we have the stop loss. Now people set their stop losses at different points. We're not going to discuss it right now, but some people use it for buying and some people use it for selling. It will buy if the stock rises to your set stop and it executes a market order, and then it will sell if it falls to a stop. Now this is scary because some stocks fall and crash after hours, and maybe your account doesn't have after hours trading, and then you end up selling at an enormous loss because you executed a market order. So it's certainly something to consider. You can also do a stop limit order, and that is when it triggers the stop, it goes back and executes a limit order. I like limit orders. Let's go make a limit order. In the other video, I told you guys to buy an ETF, and I like ETFs for learning about the market just to start. So let's go buy one at a limit and see what happens. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna buy S&P index. So we go in here and we enter the symbol, and then we click find symbol. We see the bid, 207.60, and the ask, 207.61. We want 5 shares of this, a limit order. Limit price, let's set, 207.55. We're not even gonna look at the chart, I'm just gonna do this. The reason I'm not paying too much attention to this is because I wanna get these videos up quickly. We're not gonna read the chart and get into technical analysis right now. Expire at the end of the day, and then we go over to review order. So they say buy, SPY, which is the S&P ETF. I'm going to do 5 shares, $207.55. Quote, bid, ask. Okay, so then we come down here, and where's my OK button? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we go over to place the order. It's going to be about $1,000. We're just going to do this. Place the order. So my buy order was triggered. I put in the order as a limit for 207.55, and like I said before, if it falls below that limit, it will execute still, and you'll pick it up for a lower price. So we picked it up for 207.53 cents a share. That's an extra 10 cents in our pocket, which is cool, and not a big deal because I'm not playing with a lot of money right here. Then we go out and we look at the chart and we see what the market closed at. The market closed for the ETF Trust, SPY, the market closed at 208.08. It's a good thing we put a limit order in. After hours, it looks like it's going down a little bit. Still not to our buy price, so I think we did okay. Again, the reason that I'm making these videos is not to teach you how to win at the stock market. We are going to focus on making money through other places and investing passively. We are going to dollar cost average into the market with this, and it's just going to be a passive thing. I will periodically update this, and I can show you how it's going, and I can show you when we added this, when we dollar cost average in, when the market goes down, and how that affects us. And it's actually really interesting. That is it today. There's so many other things to share before you start trading individual stocks. I highly recommend you do not get into trading individual stocks right off the bat. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but that is what I recommend, is starting with the ETFs. I guess another question that might come up is, what is the S&P 500? And the S&P 500 is a market-weighted index, whereas the Dow Jones is a price-weighted index. And so I'll go ahead and I'll explain that in another video, because I think people want to know, what am I buying when I buy this ETF trust? What is the value behind this? And that's a good question. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you enjoy your car. And that is it for today.